So, good morning, everyone. As we all know that we have started our second chapter related to your surveying is your that is related to leveling, and the next part which is related to leveling is your contouring. It is a part of your leveling. So, basically, contouring, as you all know that contouring it is related to your leveling. So this is the following uh, syllabus which we are going to cover in this. That is the definition related to contouring, the objective behind contouring, what do you mean by contour interval, what is horizontal equivalent, uses of contouring, and the characteristics of contour line. This is very important characteristics because many of the time the question related to this are asked in your university exam. What are the different type of characteristics of contour? Methods of contour plotting, how to plot a contour, what is the direct and indirect method of contouring, and contour gradient. So the following content we are going to conduct in this particular lecture. Okay. So firstly we will start with leveling and contouring. Leveling and contouring, you must have seen many times the maps which is showing what these type of grid lines, this type of circular lines. These circular lines are represented by certain number. So these number basically represent what the level. This 10 means that this particular place has a reduced level of 10. As I've told you in the previous class, the reduced levels are nothing but what the elevation of that particular point with the mean sea level, that is called as the reduced level. So this particular line indicates what this particular line indicates what this line means. The reduced level of these all the lines are connected by what the 10-meter reduced level. Then there is a line which is representing 20 meter. That means all the line is having a reduced level of 20 meter, and similarly all the line is having the reduced level of 30 meter, and all the line is having a reduced level of 40 meter. So in this way you can represent this and we can plot it, and we can understand that whether it is having a hill or not. So this basically helps to know the ground features. So as you can see that 10-meter level will be below, then there is 20-meter level, then there is 30-meter level, then there is 40-meter level. That means this particular, by drawing this on a sheet, we can identify that this particular ground is having undulated ground, that whether it is having a hill, whether it is having a valley. So by this levels we can find out what is the condition of your particular ground, and by this we can use it for our purpose. Like if you have to prepare a road, if you have to prepare a railway line, so we can choose a particular road or section which is having less gradient, which is having less hill, so that we need to cut less, and which is having less valley, so we have to fill less. In this way we can choose our ground path for our roads and the railway lines. For that purpose contourings can be used. Okay. So basically the definition of contour line, it is an imaginary line passing through a point of equal or reduced level. So basically the line which is showing this 20 meter, that indicates what all the point on line on this particular line is having a reduced level of 20 meter. Okay, so it is an imaginary line passing through the points of equal level. Okay, so this line, particular line, represent 20 meter level. It can be 30 meter, it can be 40 meter, it can be 100 meter. This 20 meter is nothing but your reduced level. Reduced level is nothing but the elevation of that point from the mean sea level. Okay, so a contour line may also be defined as the intersection of level surface with the surface of the earth. Okay, thus contour lines on the plan and illustrated the topography of the area. So if we prepare a contour line or a contour map, but that will show the topography of that particular area. Okay, for example, a contour 90 meter indicates that all the point on this line having a reduced level of 90 meter. That I've told you that if there is a line which is having a 90 meter contour line, which means that all the points on that particular line is having a reduced level of 90 meter. Similarly, a contour of 89 meter will represent all the reduced level of 89 meter, and so on. Okay, so this is a diagram. You can see that there is a level given inside a line which is showing 3500. Then is another line which is showing 3000. Then is another line which is showing 350, 2500, 2000, 1500, and 1500, and so on. So by this particular plan or by this particular map, we can directly draw a figure which is saying that the topmost portion will be 3, 4, and 4000 meter, or you have 3500 meter. This is suppose 4000. The topmost portion is 4000. Then there is 3500, then 3000, then 2550. So basically what we are getting is that if there is higher value inside, that means there is a, and then there is lower value outside, that means it is indicating a hill. and if it is vice versa, that means if there is lower value inside and higher value outside, that means it is indicating a valley. Okay, so in this way you can, with the help of this particular line, we can identify whether it is having a hill or not, or whether it is having a valley, and based on that we can use for that for our purposes, like for road construction or for your railway line and many other purposes also. Okay, next one. Then there is called as contour interval. I think there is a diagram shown over here of contour interval. No. Okay. So what is contour interval? The vertical distance between two consecutive contour is known as contour interval. So as you know that contours lines are this much like this. So if we draw a vertical line between the two consecutive contour, this particular line okay, so this vertical line is nothing but your contour interval. For example, a map indicating contour line of 90 meter, 89 meter, 88 meter and so on, that means the contour interval is of 1 meter. So as you can see that it is dropping from 90 to 89, then it is dropping from 89 to 88 and so on. That means the interval between all the lines is what, of 1 meter. The interval depends upon the following factor. It depends upon the nature of the ground. So obviously it will depend upon the nature of the ground, whether it is flat or steep, the scale of the map and the purpose for the survey. Okay, so it will depend upon these. So contour interval, you can see this is the line, this is the line. The vertical distance between these 2 points is called, or this vertical distance between these 2 points is called as a contour interval basically. Okay. Then next part. Contour interval for a flat grounds are generally small. So if there is a flat ground, interval will be less. So it may be from 0.25 to 0.5 and 0.75. The contour interval for a steep slope in a hilly area is generally greater. So for a steep slope, it is having a higher contour interval like 5 meter, 10 meter, 15 meter, etc. Again, for small scale map, the interval may be of 1 meter. For small scale map, it can be of 1 meter, it can be of 2 meter, it can be of 3 meter, etc. Contour interval is kept larger up to 2 meter for the project such as highway. So if you are doing a project related to highway or railway, so interval of 2 meter is been kept at least. Wherever it is kept as small as 0.5 meter for measurement of earthwork. So if you are doing a project related to your measurements like earthwork where higher accuracy is required, so for measurement purpose of earthwork and building and sites and dams, the interval should be of 0.5 meter. Okay. So if you are doing for road work, railway work, then you have to choose 2 meter interval, and if you are doing a work related to your earthwork, building, sites and dam, you have to choose what, 0.5 meter interval. It is desirable to have a constant contour interval for a particular map. So whenever you prepare a contour map, it should be in a proper interval. Okay, it should not be varying. Okay, so if you have chosen 2 meter interval, you should choose 2 meter interval for all the contour, and if you have chosen 0.5 meter interval, you should choose 0.5 meter interval for every contour. Okay, then there is next term which is related to your horizontal equivalent. So the horizontal distance between any two consecutive contour is known as the horizontal equivalent. As we have done it on the vertical side, we also have to do it on the horizontal side. So if we measure the horizontal distance between two consecutive contours, that is called as the horizontal equivalent. It is not constant. It varies from point to point. So it can be, there is chances that it may not be constant. It varies from what point to one depending upon the steepness of the ground. Steeper the ground, lesser is the horizontal equivalent. So if the ground is more steeper, lesser will be the horizontal equivalent. Okay, so this is related to horizontal equivalent. Then we will start with the uses of contour map, where we will use this contour map. So contour maps maybe provide valuable information about topography of the area. As I've told you, basically it indicates the topography of your particular area in which you are doing the survey. So it indicates whether your ground is flat, whether it is undulated, whether it is mountainous. Okay, that will be indicated through contour map. Okay, so nature of the ground can be also understood by what, with the help of contour map. So the uses of contour map can be what, if you have to select a site for your railway work, you have to use a contour map. Okay, because that will indicate which is the best possible route for your railway line, which is the best possible route for your road line, which is the best possible route for your canal line. For that purpose, contour map can be useful. Then to find the possible route communication between different places. So if you are connecting two places, so for that, for communication purpose, it is very important that you have to prepare a contour map of that particular area, and you have to choose the best possible route for that. Okay, and if you have to find out the capacity of a reservoir and the area of submergence can be computed with the help of contour map to ascertain the intervisibility of the station, whether the station, if you have selected two station, okay, and if you are preparing a contour map and you can see that there is a hill over here, so intervisibility, this is indicating whether this point is visible or not. So that intervisibility is also possible with the help of what, contour map. Now to ascertain the profile of the ground surface along any direction, so what is the profile of the ground, that can be indicated with the help of what, your contour map. A suitable route for a given gradient can be marked on the contour map. A suitable gradient can also, what slope should be provided, that can also be marked with the help of a contour map. Okay, so these are following uses of your contour map. Okay, it can also be used to estimate the quantity of cutting and filling. How it is being used in cutting and filling, that will be discussed in the next class. To know the drainage characteristics of the area, for providing drainage facility, and that can be used for your with the help of contour map. So these are some of the important uses of contour map. It can be used in railway work, it can be used for communication purpose, it can be used for finding out the capacity of the reservoir, for intervisibility of two station, for finding out the profile of the ground, for finding out the gradient, as well as it can be used for estimation of cutting and filling, and it is also used for providing your drainage purpose to a particular area. So these are some of the uses of your contour map. Now the most important part related to your contour surveying is your characteristic. There are around 10 to 12 characteristics of your contour map that everybody should know, and this is very important from your exam point of view, because every time in your university exam, the related to your university exam, your questions are asked related to this characteristics only. Okay, so we'll try to understand what are the various characteristics of this. Since every point on the contour line has same elevation, a contour map with a constant interval portrays a conformation of the ground in a characteristic manner. Okay, the knowledge of contour characteristics help in identifying the natural features of the area from the given map, in avoiding mistakes in plotting the contour directly. Okay, now the characteristics are what, basically the following are the characteristics which helps in plotting or reading the contour constant map. The first characteristic is that all the points on the contour line have same elevation. That I've told you. If you are connecting a survey contour, if you are drawing a contour line, that means it is indicating a particular level. That means if it is 20 meter, so all the point which is lying on this point is having an elevation of 20 meter. The elevation of the contour lines are indicated either by inserting the figure in a brick respective contour or printed close to the contour. So it can be written as 20 in between this, okay, or 20 somewhere inside this. Okay, so that will indicate your first point, that is all points on the contour line have the same elevation. Okay, next point, two contour lines do not intersect each other. So if contour line, they will not intersect each other, okay, because they have different level. This will be having 40 level, it will be having 30 level, so they will not intersect each other. Okay, contour line always form a closed circuit, but these lines are within, they may be within or outside the limit of the map. So contour line always form a closed circuit. You can see that it is forming a closed circuit, it is forming a closed circuit, it is forming a closed circuit. Sometime in your sheet it is not possible to show, because you have a certain limitation in your drawing sheets. So suppose if it is showing this type of contour, that means if you take a bigger sheet, it means it will ultimately join this way only. Okay, so they always form a closed circuit. That is the main characteristic, always form a closed circuit. Contours do not have sharp turning, they do not have any sharp turning like this. Okay, they will be having what, a closed circuit form. Next one, the contour line are closer near the top of a hill. So whenever there is a hill, so contour line will be what, closer or high ground and wide part near the foot. This indicate a very steep slope towards the peak and the flatter slope towards the foot. Okay, so it basically indicating what, if the contour lines are closer near the top, if it is like this, that means it is indicating what? A hill. Next point, the contour lines are closer near the bank of a pond or depression. So if it is like this, it is closer outside, and it is having less closer to from the inside, then it is indicating a bank or a pond or a depression. So when the lines are very near in the inside, then it is called as a hill. When the lines are at inner outside, closer outside, then it is indicating a pond. The uniform space contour line indicates a uniform slope. So if it is having a uniform space, then it is indicating a uniform slope. So these are the 13 characteristics or the rules of the contour line. This you must read before going further. That every point on the contour line have the same and exact elevation. Contour line always separate points or higher elevation from the point lower elevation. You must determine which direction of the map. Contour line always, basically these are all the characteristics which we have studied above. Okay, so before going further, take a screenshot of this and try to read all this. Okay, the next characteristics of contour is what? Okay, a series of close contour may also indicate a depression or a summit. So if it is having a series of close contour, that is indicating a depression or a summit. Okay, it can be a summit, it can be a depression. The lower value being inside the loop indicates a depression. So if the value, suppose this is your contour line, and if it lower value is inside, suppose this is 20, this is 30, what is this indicating? That it is a depression. And meanwhile, if the higher values are inside, suppose this is 40, this is 30, and this is 10, 20, that means that it is indicating a summit or a hill. Okay, now the contour deflects uphill at the valley lines and downhill at the ridge line. This is also one of the characteristics. That means contour deflect uphill at the valley and at the downhill at the ridge hills. Okay, next one, the contour lines meets at a point indicating a vertical cliff. So if a contour line is meeting at a point, that is indicating a vertical cliff. Okay, next one, contour lines cannot cross one another except in case of a overhanging cliff. So as we have seen in the previous slide, that the contour lines do not intersect each other, but it is possible only in case of a overhanging cliff. So if there is an overhanging cliff, there is chances that contour line may intersect each other. Okay, so these are all the characteristics related to your contour. So over here you can see that there is an overhanging cliff over here. So you must have seen these lines intersecting each other. These two contour lines are intersecting over here, and there is also one line which is intersecting over here. Okay, so in most of the cases your contour line do not intersect each other, but in case of a overhanging cliff, it can intersect each other. Okay, now the methods of contouring. This is also very important method of contouring. Contouring requires planimetric position of what the points whose elevation have been determined by leveling. The method of locating contour therefore depends upon the instrument used to determine the horizontal as well as the vertical position of several points in the area. So basically, contours we required your leveling instrument like your dumpy lever or auto level. With the help of your leveling staff, we can find out the reduced level of the given point, and by using the following methods, we can try to prepare a contour map of that. Okay. So methods, basically we have two type of method. One is called as your direct method and one is your indirect method. Okay, direct method is a very tedious method. This is not basically used in the site, and mostly indirect method is always used on the site. So direct method, it involves what? In direct method, contouring, the reduced level of various selected points on a contour lines are obtained and their positions are located. Okay. The contours are then drawn by joining these points. It is very accurate method, but it is a very slow and tedious method. This method is employed only for a small area where superior accuracy is demanded. The method of locating contours directly consists of horizontal and vertical contour. The horizontal control of the small area can be exercised with the help of chain and tape of large area by compass, theodolite or plane table. For vertical control, either level or the staff or the hand level may be used. So In this method, what you have to do is that, suppose you are doing a surveying in which you have your instrument, okay, and we have to draw a contour of 100 meter, okay. So what you have to do is that, and suppose for finding out the 100 meter reduced level, we have to get the reading on your leveling staff as 1.23. So what you have to do that, in this particular area you will have to find out the location where the value of 1.23 is coming, okay. And after, once you get the value of 1.23, you will have to draw a contour related to that only, okay. So this is very tedious process, because we are what, in this big area we'll have to find out the reading of 1.23. So this become very slow process and a very tedious process. So that's why it is not adopted generally. Mostly the method which has been adopted is your indirect method, okay. By level and staff, as I've told you, in your contouring we required your leveling instrument as well as your leveling staff, and with the help of that we can prepare your contour map. After that we'll see about your indirect method. So indirect method are less expensive, less time consuming, and less tedious as compared to your direct method. These methods are commonly employed in small scale survey of large area, okay. So in indirect method there are basically three methods which are employed, which one is your grid method, one is your cross section method, one is your radial line method or a tachymetric method, okay. We'll see one by one. So in grid method, if the area is not large, it is divided into a grid or a series of squares. So what you have to do, if the area is divided into number of grid lines, okay, which consist of horizontal line as well as which consist of your vertical lines, okay, of what, 5 by 5 meter or 25 by 25 meter, depending upon the nature of the ground. The contour intervals and the scale of the map. The grid corners are marked on the ground, and spot level of these corners are then determined by the normal method of leveling using a levels. So what you have to do is that, the corners of this grid line, you will have to find out the reduced level of this. So you will find out the reduced level at this point, you will have to find out the reduced level at this point, you have to find out the reduced level of this point, you will have to find out the reduced level of this point, okay. You will have to find out the reduced level of this point, all the points you have to find out the reduced level, okay, with the help of your normal theodolite method, by keeping your instrument and taking a benchmark level, and then you have to find out, you have to take the measure the level, and then with the help of your height of instrument method or your rise and fall method, you will have to find out the reduced level of this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point. Now the grid is plotted to the scale and the map. Spot the level of the grid corners are entered. Then we will have to draw this grid into your sheet with the help of selecting suitable scale. Then we will have to mark the reduced level. Suppose this is 100, this is 102, this is 103, and so on. You have to mark all the notations which we have got by calculating, okay. Then this method is very suitable. And then what we have to do, with the help of interpolation, we can find out the reduced level of this point. Suppose we have to find out the reduced level of what, 101. So 101 will be lying between 100 and 102, so it will be passing from somewhere. So with the help of interpolation, you will have to find out what is the exact point from where it has been passing, and ultimately you connect all the points which is having an elevation of 101, and you will draw a contour. And suppose you have to draw a what, an contour which is having an interval of what, 102.5. So 102.5, you will draw this. Suppose it is passing from here. So in this way you will have to draw a contour with the help of interpolation, okay. Interpolation is done, okay, and with the help of interpolation you will draw the contour line by considering all the characteristics which we have studied in the previous slide, okay. That it should be a close conduit, it should the line should join the point of equal elevation, and all the other characteristics we need to consider and draw that particular contour, okay. So this method is very suitable for what, small area, okay, and where close vertical intervals are required, okay. Next point, this is basically the method. This is how that is prepared a contour. This is the point which is joining of equal elevation. This is 40 and this is 35. As you can see, that is forming a contour line. Or you can see this is what we have drawn, okay. Over here you can see that this is a line which is then passing from here to here. It is a contour line, this is a line again which is passing from the you can see that we have prepared a grid line and we have finded out the elevations of the corner points. Okay. Next one is your cross section method. In this method, suitable spaced cross sections are projected on either side of the center of the area. Okay. Several points are chosen at a reasonable distance on either side. The observations are made in the usual manner with a level. The cross section lines are plotted to the scale. The points on these lines are marked and the reduced level are entered. Okay. The contours of desirable values are then located with the help of interpolation. This method is suitable for road and railway and canal survey. So in this diagram you will understand how it has been done. What you have to do, you have to take a cross section of this particular point, and you have to take the cross section of this particular point. You have to take the cross section of this particular line, this line. Okay, and now at a suitable interval we will find out the reduced level. And similarly for this cross section also we have to find out the reduced level at regular interval. Okay, now with the help of interpolation you will have to find out what the reduced level of different points. So in this way also you can do your contouring with the help of your cross section method. I think this is your radial method. Cross section method is not given. Cross section method is somewhat like this. You have to draw cross section in between your survey line, and at regular interval you will have to take what points, and then you have to find out what the elevation of this particular points, this corners, this corners, this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner, and after that you have to prepare a contour line. Okay. Next one is your radial line method. In this method a number of radial lines are set out at a known angular interval, 15 degree 30 minutes. So as you can see that there is an different lines have been prepared which is having an angle of about 15 degree or 30 degree. Then you have to take some intervals. Okay, and then at the intervals you find out the reduced level, and with the help of interpolation when we draw your contour lines. Okay, in this way you can prepare your contour map with the help of radial line method. Now the comparison between your direct method and indirect method is what? Direct method, this is the most accurate, but it is very slow and tedious. It is not so accurate. Indirect method is not so accurate, but it is rapid and fast. Next one, it is expensive. Direct method is very expensive. It is cheaper as compared to your direct method. Not suitable for hilly area. This cannot be done in the area which is having hills. This can be done in the area which is having hills. During the work, calculation can be done. So at the time of the work we can do the calculations also, but calculations are not required on the field. That can be done in the office itself. Okay. Now the calculation cannot be checked after the contouring. So once we have done all the calculation, that cannot be done after your contouring work is over, but calculation can be checked whenever it is required in case of your indirect method. So this is the comparison. It is more accurate but slow and tedious. It is less accurate but it is fast. It is expensive, it is cheaper, it is not suitable for hilly area, it is suitable for hilly area. Calculation can be done at the work, calculation cannot be done at the work. Calculation cannot be checked after the completion of the work, calculation can be checked after the completion of the work. Okay. Now to find out the interpolation. Now how to do your interpolation? So there are basically three methods by which you can find out, you can do the interpolation of your contours. The process of locating the contour proportionally between the plotted points is termed as interpolation, and it is done by what? It is done by the help of estimation, it is done by arithmetical calculation, it is done by a graphical method. Okay. So in estimation, it is not given any theoretical part over here. So let me show you how to do your interpolation. Suppose you have a grid like this. There is a level of 100 here. There is a level of 102 over here. Okay. The distance between these two boxes is what? 5 meter. Again, the distance between these two boxes is about 5 meter. Suppose this is what 99. This is your 98. or suppose this is 100 and this is 101.5, this is 100 and 101.7. okay, now suppose you have to draw a contour which is having a reduced level of what, suppose 101 meter. So this will be this is how it will pass. Okay, it will not pass from this line because it can pass from this two line, but it cannot pass from this line because 101 is lying between these two lines. It will be between 100 and 102. So you will have to find out the exact location where you have where you get these contour lines. For that you have to do what? You have to use a particular triangle like this. So what is this triangle indicating? This is your 100 meter level, this is your 102 meter level. Okay, this particular difference of height level is what? Of 2 meter. Okay, there is a line passing, okay, which is at a distance of what? This is at a distance of x, and this is at a distance of what? 5 meter. Okay, and with this height also we can calculate because we have to find out the reduced level of 1, so this height will be 1. So with the help of applying similarity of triangle between these two sides, that 1 by x equals to what? 2 by 5, that will give you the distance between these 2 points. That will give you the distance, exact distance from where this particular line will pass. This is how your interpolation is basically done. You leave all this estimation and mathematical calculation graphical method, but try to understand these are also some of the methods by which you can do your interpolation. Okay, so this is only this much part is related to your contour. I think we have completed our contour map. Okay, so here we complete our contouring part. So that is also related to your leveling also. Okay, practicals won't be possible to perform because we are not able to perform practical because in surveying most of the part is related to your practical, but still try to read related to contour maps. You will get a huge data related to contouring. Okay, how to prepare a contour map. Okay, and if you have any doubt related to this particular lecture, please let me know in the comment section, and you can directly contact me on my WhatsApp number. Okay, here we complete our leveling part, which is your contouring and leveling and surveying. There is one more part related to this, which is your trigonometric leveling, which we will do in the next lecture. Okay, we will complete that, and then we will complete our third unit also. Okay, after that we'll start with our new chapter, that is your instrument related to your theodolite, and that is called a theodolite survey. Okay, thank you so much.